Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Smith & Wiggins Show. We are powered today by
YourMoneyHero.com. That was really hard. And I'm Smith.
And I'm Wiggins. So, yeah, and Smith is your money hero. So that was hard. We're going to work on that a little bit there. So.
My mind just sort of went blank. Yes.
The sound effects.
We're going to be talking about something pretty exciting, though.
It's true. It's very true. So we have made a new friend, okay? And I know everybody's excited. We especially are excited. But, you know, we're always excited when you make a new friend and everything like that. And that new friend is?
Noah St. John.
So we started talking about Noah St. John.
Oh, is that backwards?
It kind of looks a little backwards, but, you know, it might show up right. But anyways.
We don't know if it's showing up right or not. Okay, so I'll read it to you. The Secret Code of Success.
7 hidden steps to more wealth and happiness. Now, if you have listened to any of the podcasts in the past, you realize that we've talked a little bit about Noah's book before. And we talked about the fact that there's different levels of knowing what you know and not knowing what you don't know, and, you know, just different levels of all that. But we also said for us that defining what health and wealth is and happiness and wealth is, that's a personal definition. Okay, so we are going on and we're just bringing out little highlights from this book here. We're going to actually do this with a couple other books, just, well, because this is enlightening to us. So we talk right now, and we're in a segment where we were reading just recently, I mean, just literally minutes ago, we were reading about goals.
Yes.
So read the first 3 points that Noah has to say about goals.
Okay, so we are all conditioned to set goals.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned from birth, basically, to set goals, right? So, but what happens when we don't reach the goals? What is going on in our life that we don't achieve the goal that we set out to do? So in this book by Noah St. John that I just have enjoyed reading, I've probably put about 40 hours of research into so far, and I am not done. I expect to be totally perfect when I come out on the other side of this. Just saying. Okay.
Well, and one of the
that's
things,
a lot to fulfill.
that's a lot to fulfill. Oh, yeah, right. Noah, ring. But one of the things that's happening here is, you know, she got this book. It was referred to us by our friend Corky. Corky recommended the book. She listened to the book on Audible first.
Yes.
Then you liked it so much you ordered the book.
Well, I spent probably 30 hours listening, but I didn't just listen.
Mm-hmm.
I was actively participating.
You did it. Activities.
Because he says, stop and do this. And so many people are just listening and they're riding in their car and they can't stop and do this. I literally turned off the recorder and I did the homework assignment.
Okay.
So I have a notebook full of notes, and I feel like I've been able to take some action steps based on that, and it has really been eye-opening, life-changing for me. I'm just going to tell you.
And that was the first time through the book. Now you're on the second time through the book.
But I wanted to order the book so that I could take my notes, the book, listen to it, read it while it's being read to me, stop, go back through my notes, make additional notes. I mean, it's almost like a miniature course for me, or maybe not even a miniature one. I feel like I'm in college. But so the goals. So the reasons we don't reach our goals, Noah St. John says in the book, is 1, we're going after goals that we really don't want. So are those goals someone else's goals or expectations for you, and you're feeling obligated to at least try to achieve them?
Right.
So you need to ask yourself that question if you haven't reached a goal. 2, is the goal impossible, outdated, or unrealistic? Have you really evaluated the quality of that goal, right?
Right. Yeah. And so one of the things that we find through all this, though, is that this takes self-awareness. Now, one of the things about this book is this is teaching a form of self-awareness. We've talked about it, and we summed it up a couple podcasts ago about getting beyond the ruby level. You became self-aware of the fact that you had reached a ruby level, and you want the diamond or the whatever's above diamond. We'll take that level too, you know, kind of thing. So you wanted to go beyond that. So that was a awakening of self-awareness. So you have to realize whether you have impossible, outdated, or unrealistic dreams. That takes self-awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
And the third thing is you haven't given yourself permission to stop setting goals.
I think I need a sabbatical on that one right there. Just sit and think about it.
Why don't we just stop that madness? I love that.
Yeah, because there's a certain freedom from it.
Yeah, because we've been pressured and preached at with millions of books and audios and life teachers in our life that what's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? Let's set a goal. Well, that in of itself is just kind of worthless. And it feels defeating to me. When you don't reach a goal, you then become self-defeated.
Right.
And now you feel worthless.
Oftentimes what happens with goals, though, is instead of keeping the goal about the goal itself, we become obsessed with making the goal about beating somebody else or even beating ourselves. And sometimes I think maybe a little competition with ourselves is not a bad thing. But what happens really is instead of saying, I want to better myself, we say we want to beat ourselves. And you have to be very careful about the differences there. Because if you want to see something in somebody else's life and you look at that and you go, I wonder if I do that in my life and how can I be better than that? You don't want to be better than them. You want to be better. You want to do better. There's a difference. There's a real distinct difference. And goals sometimes can be about comparing yourself to somebody else. And that's not what a goal is for. Especially if you release yourself from setting goals altogether.
Yeah, I like it. I think we need to take a break.
We're going to sit here and think about this for a little bit. And we're going to come back to you and we're going to talk a little bit more about goals and read on again a little bit about what Noah says regarding goals. And okay, we'll be right back. You've been listening to and watching The Smith and Wiggins Show.
Look, up in the air. Is that a bird? Is that a plane? No, it's your money hero. Let me ask you something, young business person. How would it feel to have the cash you need to run your business? Business owners everywhere struggle with where and how to put their hands on working capital. Your Money Hero works with business owners just like you who are looking for working capital for their businesses. To find out more, call us at 704-209-5015 or look us up on the internet at yourmoneyhero.com. Once again, that number is 704-209-5015 or contact us on the web at yourmoneyhero.com.
Well, hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Smith and Wiggins Show. Today we are powered by
yourmoneyhero.com.
I was gonna jump in there.
You were gonna rescue me?
Oh well, I don't know about rescuing. Anyways,
I'm Smith.
And I am Wiggins, and we're back talking about goals, and we're talking more importantly about the book by Noah St. John,
Yes.
which
is called The Secret Code of Success. And if that's backwards, I'm super sorry. 7 Hidden Steps to More Wealth and Happiness.
Okay, so I got to read a segment here really quickly. We were talking about goals. Just to recap really quickly, we talked about we're going after something we don't really want, our goal's impossible, outdated, or unrealistic, or we haven't given ourselves permission to stop setting goals. So this is from that section right there, and one of the things that Noah outlines is he talks about that we know from physics that a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And when a rocket ship leaves Earth, it must first overcome gravity and secondly break through the atmosphere. It's just like that with our lives. Our habits are like gravity. That's what we're used to doing. We're used to thinking, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. And we're probably not used to asking for help or accepting support from other people or thinking there could be another way to live. So we talk about habits, and actually one of the other books that we're reviewing right now talks about habits too. That's The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and we're talking about that being a success habit, making a habit. And I don't know about you, but I have trouble making habits.
Me too.
Yeah, and so it's funny. I always tell everybody, it's anybody says, "Do you have bad habits?" And I said, I don't have bad habits, good habits, or otherwise. And probably though the bad habit is not having a good habit. So that being said, yeah, you have to sometimes break your own trajectory, as it were. So though we talk about habits, because we are not good at setting habits. The one thing that we are good at is what? Systems.
Yes, systems, taking some action.
So taking action, but what we do is we actually create a system that makes sure that we create a habit. Right? I mean,
Yes.
it becomes a habitual form of work or process for us. Systems, process, etc. As soon as we develop it, and we're good at developing it, for some reason, even though it can't be a habit up here, it can become something that we follow in our daily processes.
Yes, that's right. And I like doing that because it more holds me accountable.
It holds you accountable, and it also allows you to do some, well, I'm trying to think of what the word is, but that allows you to disperse the energy. And I say that because you can actually say to somebody else, hey, I got to meet these, as they're outlined in these systems and things like that, we need to meet these. And so by meeting those, you can actually delegate that. That's the word I want to delegate.
Oh, I love that word. Yes. And we will talk on another podcast about one of my favorite things is deciding how to do that.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So deciding how to delegate, how to employ processes and systems.
Yes.
So anyways, going on with what he says here, the next thing he says is our environment is like the atmosphere. That's where we exist. Being used to a certain environment is why even highly successful people may have to work at letting themselves succeed at a higher and higher level. Now that's something. That's what this book, he says, is all about. You don't have to make any more expensive mistakes. Now I'm not going to go on from there because that actually talks about his own systems and processes, as it were. But one of the things that we say is that we exist and we exist in an environment, and sometimes we have to let ourselves succeed. I think that's so interesting that wording is used there, that we have to let ourselves succeed.
Yeah, because so many times we get in our own way.
Right.
Hey, I have a secret.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay. What's your secret?
So my secret is that I spoke to Noah St. John yesterday.
Oh, that not so secret.
And we had an incredible conversation. And he's going to come on and do a podcast with us.
Oh, yeah. We're thrilled.
We're going to bring him on to talk with us about, how do we get out of our own way and how, because like there are things that people, there's no reason they're not successful. And what happens? How do we let that happen? And sometimes we just sabotage ourselves and we don't even realize we're doing it until we've done it.
And that goes with our theme that we've been talking about, where we've talked about, if you get to a Ruby level, that's Smith's personal story there. If you get to the Ruby level and you want to go beyond, that's exactly what he's talking here, letting themselves succeed at higher and higher levels. You have to give yourself permission to go beyond where you've stopped yourself already at. And I don't know how else to even say that. I could probably be more eloquent in my choice of words, but you have to give yourself permission to go beyond where you are.
Yes.
So anyway.
But sometimes your subconscious says, no way.
It does. It does. And it blocks you and it stops you and it gets you stuck.
Yes.
So at some point you have to give yourself permission. So that's a continuing thing. We're going to be going beyond the Ruby level as we were and as we are.
I love that.
As we are. And you've been listening and tuned in and watching to the Smith and Wiggins Show. You are.
I am Smith.
And I am Wiggins. We've been powered today by yourmoneyhero.com. We hope you'll tune back in next time where we talk about another book and about some great business habits that you can form. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.